everybody? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jasmine. Welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hey y'all, how's it going? How you doing? Today we are going to be talking all about the interview questions and answers. I'm going to be taking it way back to 2.5 years ago when I was applying for this job and what I did to have a successful video interview, and I'm ready and more than willing to share all of my tips, tricks, and keys to how you can do that yourself as well in this year's interview process. So yeah, before we get started, grab your notebooks, grab your popcorn, grab your juice and water, your coffee, whatever you need, and let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the video or subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment down below hashtag more flight life if you're just loving all the flight attendant content. Yes, get into it. All right, let's get into this video. All right, so if you watched my previous video on how to become a flight attendant, the process, you would know that if you're applying right now in this year's application process, you would know that there are going to be multiple interviews that you need to begin preparing for. The first one is going to be a video interview with just yourself, recording in front of the camera without a person being there to listen and to hear your answers. And then you're also going to be preparing for another second interview that is on video but with an actual human, which I call the video face-to-face interview. And then once we get past those, you'll then start preparing for your face-to-face in-person headquarters interview. But we're not going to get there yet. We're not going to talk about that one yet. Today we are strictly talking about any interviews that you're going to be having via video screen, on your computer, on your electronic device, preferably a computer. Please don't do it on your phone, guys. But yes, so I have brought out the book, y'all. If you watched me in my journey to how I became a flight attendant, you would know this book and your mouth is probably on the floor because you're like, why and how do you still have this book? Yes, I never got rid of it. It's memories. I got this book the day, maybe a couple of weeks after I submitted my application to becoming a flight attendant. I purchased this book. Actually, matter of fact, I got this book after I received word that I was invited to my first virtual face interview. But anyways, I got this book in preparation specifically for becoming a flight attendant. This was specifically in preparation for my interviews. Half of the book is literally empty. Literally, I didn't get far in this book. I never touched it again. This is as far as I got in the book. This is how far, a good at least 10 to 12 pages, and literally there's nothing left in this book. I left this book solely for the purposes of preparing for my interviews, and it says see the world on it, adventure. Getting this book was a form of manifestation for me, okay? I manifested that I was about to see the world, and sure enough, here I am. Okay, anyways, so I already know this video is probably going to be a little bit lengthy, so I will try to add chapters just on the main topics of how we're going to get into these questions and answers. So just bear with me, and if you need to look in the description box, by all means do that so you can just jump to the portions that you need for this video. So be patient with me. I'm filming this and uploading this on the same day. So today is Wednesday. What time is it? It's literally 12:35, and I usually post at 2. So again, bear with me. But let's just get right into it. So first of all, anything that I'm going to be sharing today and telling you today is all Googleable. Googleable? Is that even a word? You can search it on Google, okay? Everything that I got in this book, I did just Google searches, y'all. Literally got online and searched flight attendant interview questions, flight attendant whatever, just practice questions and answers, star format. So that's what we're going to get into first. But I want to just let you know that these questions and answers that I'm about to run through are not and by any means were the questions that I specifically had in my interviews. I need to put that disclaimer out there right now. This was 2.5 years ago. The questions are probably worded different, formulated different, but they're all probably around the same type of structure because of the type of job it is and the airline that it is. So I need you to know that I'm not sitting here saying, hey, if you're applying in the 2021 application process, this is what you're going to get asked. It's not by any means what's happening here. I'm sharing with you the questions that I wrote down, that I found searchable for myself, answered them for myself, and it was a means of practice. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, the questions, not one of these questions that I'm about to list off, I even got asked during my interview process. It's better to just have a plethora of questions that you're practicing and practicing answers to, so that you can just be most prepared. Even though I didn't get asked anything verbatim of the questions that I found or that I formulated for myself, I was still very, very, very prepared on how to answer the questions that they did end up asking me, because they were very similar to the ones that I was practicing in my notebook. Okay, so disclaimer out the way, let's get into the video. Star format is a thing, and it's still a thing. So let's get into what star format is. So right here I have star format, and I have exactly what it is. I'm telling you, I haven't touched this book since then, so everything in here is raw and real. Okay, so star format, the S stands for situation, the T stands for task, the A stands for action, and the R stands for result. Getting deeper into what that actually means, so an example, I have examples written right here. So an example for a situation: when you're using star format, you need to include all letters into your sentence structure. So what you're going to be giving as an answer is going to be like a mini paragraph. So you're going to be answering your questions and making sure you hit each letter of the format. So situation, here's my example. A customer rang up complaining that they'd waited more than 2 weeks for a reply from our sales team regarding a product. A product what? Oh, a product inquiry. Child, I don't know what I'm writing right here, but you get the gist. The task was that I needed to address the client's immediate query, and find out what went wrong in the normal process. The action that I took: I apologized, got the details, and passed them to our head salesperson, who contacted the client within the hour. I investigated why the query hadn't been answered. I discovered that it was a combination of a wrong number and a generic email address that wasn't being checked. I let the client know, and we offered a goodwill discount on her next order. The results are: the client not only continued to order from us, but posted a positive customer service tweet. So someone's to ask you, give me an example of a time that you had a customer complaint. How did you handle it, and what was the result? This is how you would answer your question. There was a time that a customer rang up complaining that they'd yada yada yada. Once I left the phone, I immediately took the opportunity to send the complaint to said person, and did X, Y, and Z, and the result ended in blank. So that's the best way to formulate your questions. I hope that was clear, but you'll get a little bit more of a gist of that as I read you some of the answers that I formulated for myself in my practice questions. Now we're gonna backtrack a little bit to the front of my book, because on the first page that I have right here, preparing for your interview, right? So things that I needed to do. The best way to prepare for your interview, to have a really good interview, is to know the company you are applying for. You need to go ahead and just do a whole bunch of research. Get on Facebook. I have right here. Check Facebook, check LinkedIn, check the About Us on their homepage. Google the company culture, hit up Glassdoor, and learn about who you'll be working for. That is the most important thing. You're not gonna go to I don't know if you're anything like me, but you're not gonna hit up a new restaurant if you hadn't already had a mild rapport on what to expect or what the hype was about, or haven't seen a couple of TikToks about it. It's the same thing when you're applying for a job, any job, whether it's becoming a flight attendant or anything. You need to research the company. So it's important that you do that, because not only do you need to know and be genuine with your answers, you can use some of that information directly in your answers. I put as an example, why do you aspire to work with this company, right? That was like a sample question that I have written down. And I put, the airline named blank was named one of 2017's Fortune 100 best companies to work for, ranking number 63, and the only airline on the list. That could be like the start of your answer to the interviewer. Like, okay, so she knows a little bit of her information. She at least did a Google search. I would say it's equivalent to, like, you know, making the company feel good, using their information to make them feel good, hype them up. Like, I want to work for you because you're X, Y, and Z. That's just like a mild example. There's a lot of information out there on every airline, no matter what airline you are applying for, that you can use it directly in your answers, guys. It really will help you, because it just shows that you did the research, you're taking it seriously, and you're not just applying because, oh, I heard that y'all get paid the most, or, oh, I just want to travel, so here I am applying. If you really make it seem like, or not even make it seem like, if you really do the research, you're going to come off a lot more genuine and more authentic in your interview questions and answers, okay? One question that I don't think that people really take the time to genuinely answer and come up and formulate a really good question or answer to is the question of, tell me about yourself. You're gonna get this question. You're gonna get this question, whether it be in your video interview or your face-to-face interview at the headquarters. You're gonna get this question, and it's important for you to formulate a good answer. So as an example, I'm gonna share with you what I have written down and probably what I did use. So question 1, tell me about yourself. My answer was, my name is Jasmine Montero, and I am 22 years old. I possess a very attractive and welcoming spirit, which allows me to be comfortable in almost any situation. With my enhanced communication skills, I am able to converse, give direction, and listen to understand someone regardless of our known history. I believe in the power of manifestation, and that the positivity you put into the world will only come back full circle, helping me to maintain a happy personality regardless of the day I'm having. Now that may sound like off the wazoo, like it has nothing to do with the job, but if we break down this answer, it has everything to do with the career that I'm seeking for. Let's break it down. Number 1, attractive and welcoming spirit. Yeah, you need that. You're encountering 600 people a day on the airplane. You are the brand that you work for. So when people see me in my uniform, they see my airline. So I have to obviously portray an attractive and positive, welcoming spirit. Moving on, which allows me to be comfortable in almost any situation. Do y'all know what we deal with on the airlines? A lot of uncomfortable situations, a lot of different personalities, a lot of changing in operations. We have to deal with a lot, but if you are portraying that you're comfortable in any and every situation and that you can work through and with any situation, right off the bat, you're knocking things off of their list. With my enhanced communication skills. I mean, I don't need to explain every sentence. I am able to converse, give direction, and listen to understand regardless of our known history. This one is important because when you're a flight attendant, you're working with different people every rotation. And it doesn't matter if I went to training with you, so I know how to work with you. No, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I still have to come to the job, do what I need to do, work with you as a team, because at the end of the day, you work as a crew, as a flight attendant. And this is something that I knew when formulating this question, because I need to be able to work with people no matter if I know them, no matter if we're best friends, no matter if we're different races, if we have different cultural values. It doesn't matter. Not only is that important for working, but it's important we're working with your co-workers. It's important when interacting with passengers. You never know what somebody could be dealing with day to day, why somebody's on the plane. We could be carrying their dead father under the plane and we have no idea, and they're having a really horrible attitude, but you know how to talk to people and you're able to get that answer out of them, or that explanation out of them, because you're a good person at the end of the day and you know how to talk and work with people no matter the circumstances. That's important. People might be having a bad day. You don't know where they just came from or what just happened to them. So having that characteristic is important, and it was one that I felt like I should have highlighted about myself. Moving along, I believe in the power of manifestation and that positivity you put in the world. Okay, so this is just highlighting, the last few sentences are just highlighting that no matter what I'm faced or what I'm going through, I'm still going to be a good person and blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if I answered this like verbatim or if I, whatever, I don't really remember. But I'm pretty sure I used this as the blueprint, because to me, this is a pretty good answer. There's no need to share your favorite color. There's no need to share your favorite flower. Share things that make sense to the job, make sense to what you would be doing in the career that you are going for. Another question that's important to really formulate is that you might get is why you want to work with that specific airline. This is where all the research will come in, because you can throw that into your answer. Now, don't make your entire answer just throwing out stuff that you found on Google. You need to really formulate your answer that makes sense for you and that's genuine to you as a human being, as your personality, characteristics of your own, and with a little sprinkle of the information that you found on Google or Facebook or LinkedIn or from a friend that you know, whatever. So here's my answer to this question. I am a strong believer that the uplifting, family-oriented, and positive work environment I've been searching for has been embedded in blank from the start. I belong in a workspace that is welcoming and one that truly cares about its employees. Statistics don't lie as well. I'm confident in this return from blank thanks to blank blank. Now, I named a specific person. Thanks to blank. I'm saying blank blank because honestly, I'm just roll with me, okay? I'm confident in this return from blank airline thanks to blank blank person, executive vice president, who was responsible for blank airline's 63rd place in the Forbes 100 best places to work in 2017. Someone could formulate that a lot better than I did, but I felt that was pretty good because I shared a little bit about myself and what I was looking for in a company, on top of throwing out the statistics, throwing out the stacks. I name dropped, I fact dropped, you know what I'm saying? I threw out a statistic. It's important that I formulated that in my question so that it looked like, okay, why do you want to work for this company? Well, I'll tell you why I want to work for this company. I also know a bit of information about your company. Here, let me share it with you. So if you could creatively construct your answer based off of that. And it's 2021 now, so there are tons of new statistics out there about whatever airline you are going for that you can formulate into your answers. This is super important. In my opinion, I feel like it's important because it really will make you stand out. You're not just giving a basic question or answer to a question that they hear all day. They are asking these questions all day, guys. How is your answer going to be the one that stands out for them and that makes them want to move your package to the next interview step? Sorry, I'm like getting lost in my words. Let me drink some water. Okay, so I have a lot of good ones in here, and these are where the STAR format's really gonna come into play. Think about it this way. As you're interviewing, you're going to be asked a lot of questions based off of your previous work experience. one of the questions that I, just Google searched and came up with an answer to was, can you recall a time when you had to break an obligation and for what reason? This was my answer. I don't think I was asked this at all, but this is a good one because you might be asked something like this. Like, tell me about a time where you had to do something that wasn't part of protocol, or tell me a time when you had to step away from the rules of your everyday job to fix a customer issue or something. So anyways, can you recall a time when you had to break an obligation and for what reason? My answer that I came up with was, I take company policy, protocol, and rules very seriously. I understand that there wouldn't be rules in place if there were room for expectation. There wouldn't be rules put in place if there were room for exceptions. However, a situation in which I set aside my obligations was during my time as a personal assistant teacher. It was during nap time, and one of the children that I care for outside of the school couldn't sleep. Because I am so familiar with this child and know her nap time struggles, I decided to warm her up some milk to help her sleep. As her caregiver, I felt I was tasked to do what I received to do for the benefit of the child. Sleep is important. It is obviously not good to favor any child. However, I made the executive decision to make an exception, especially because I knew the exact trick to get her to sleep. The situation resulted in the child getting her entire nap in peace. My lead teacher, who also agreed and was satisfied with my actions. So, I read you the situation. I explained to you the task that I did. I explained to you, or the task at hand, I explained to you the action that I took, and then I also gave you the result. So, STAR, situation, task, action, and result. All of that was in that paragraph here, right here, that I formulated just as a practice. And I know it sounds crazy to like practice some of these answers, but you have to, because I don't know, like back in the day, questions used to be timed. I don't think they're timed anymore, but you want to be quick on your feet and be able to think about this time quickly. Like if you want to talk about a time that you had to fall off of protocol, think about that time. Like have that time already in the back of your mind so that you know what to say when the interviewer asks your question. Another one that I want to share, and I think this is going to be the last one that I share for this video because the video is getting long. Okay, this answer is long. Oh my God. A situation when you initiated a new policy or procedure. Okay, let's go with this one. Describe a situation where you initiated a new policy or procedure. This is kind of hard because like, what if you never did that? You never want to be like, no, I didn't do that. Like, this is why I say you have to practice and come up with answers. You need to dig deep and think about some of the situations because this is very well a question that you could be asked. And if your answer better not be, oh, I've never had to. No, you better. Okay, so let's get into the answer. During my time as a camp counselor at the YMCA, there was one summer I held the position of arts and crafts teacher. Children ranging from 5 years old to 16 years old saw me throughout their day for creative and fun activities. Previously, when a group of campers entered my class, they all ran in, picking their seats with no order whatsoever. One day, a child got trampled over because children were too excited about the cookie baking activity I had planned. Safety is our #1 policy. With fun following close behind, it was clear I needed to implement new rules to keep the children safe so the fun could commence. After all, it was summer camp. After this situation, I implemented the rule to all camp counselors to order their groups in single file lines before entering. From there, I had the children pick a square on our rug to sit quietly until they received direction from me about today's activities. Once the activity is explained in full, they will leave their bags in their spots on the carpet and be called row by row to pick a chair at any table. Implementing this rule not only kept the kids safe, but also helped keep the kids much more organized and easy for myself as the teacher. We never had an incident like this again. So I think that was a decent, answer. I think that I could have went a little bit more in detail about the result, about like how things really panned out. Like, I mean, I know I said implementing this resulted in the kids' safety, health. I don't know. I could have went a little bit deeper in that. But that's an example of how I answer the question. That's how deep and thick your answers to your questions need to be, okay? So some of the other ones, I'm just gonna read off some of the other questions that I just kind of like Google searched. You're in the middle of a meal service when a passenger with an infant hands a used diaper in your direction. She asks you to dispose of the diaper for her. What do you do? What would you do? I think, what did I write down? This is so funny to see my answers now that I am a flight attendant and I know like what life is really like. But my answer was, in a situation like this, I would politely inform the passenger that I can absolutely dispose of the diaper for her. However, only after the meal service is complete. I would also suggest that if she would like to get rid of it sooner than later, she can dispose of it herself using the air sickness bag first, then taking it to the lavatory. Aw, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's the politically correct answer. I mean, that's not a bad answer. I mean, I think that's pretty decent. You're in the middle of meal service, and realistically, as a flight attendant, you're not gonna stop in the middle of the service to go throw a diaper away. First of all, I don't take diapers. That's number one, okay? I'm not taking your diaper. You hold on to your diaper, or you throw that diaper away by yourself. Or throw up. People try to give you your throw up bags. That's gross. You get up and you can throw your throw up bag away in the lavatory by yourself. But anyways, this is the politically correct answer. Throughout the flight, you've been serving alcohol to passengers. One passenger who you've been serving in particular has had quite a few drinks and is now becoming disruptive to other passengers. He requests another drink. How do you deal with the situation? These are like realistic questions. Man, and I found all these on Google. Yeah, so honestly, guys, I hope that I have shared some pertinent information in this video. Once again, none of these questions were actually asked to me. It's probably the why do you want to become a flight attendant and tell me about yourself. Those were probably asked me, but I mean, those are very basic, mild, like, I'm not sharing too much information. I'm not just giving you guys the answers to things. These are answers that I formulated based off of my job experience. So that's exactly what you're gonna have to do. Take the time, guys. Google search some questions. Although there's a chance that you might not be asked any of the questions that you Google search, and that's okay. At least you have practiced how to formulate proper answers the right way and how to really go into detail, because the interviewer will ask you, if you answer it too mildly, they'll ask you more questions off of that question. Like, okay, well, how did that result? What action did you take to attain that result? So if you hit every letter without them having to keep asking you and prompting you more questions for the question, you'll be fine. Like, it really will be fine. Just take the time, really prepare. I think it's just important to have a book like this. Take your time, write out some questions that you find, come up with answers. Take your jobs that you actually did and dig deep. Another big tip before I go is, when you're creating your answers, something that I did was come up with situations. I chose the situations that I dealt with in the past that in my head would make sense in relation to being a flight attendant. So protocol and procedures with the question at the camp. I chose that specific situation because it made sense about safety and rules and regulation, when that is a big part of a flight attendant's career. We are there for your safety first and foremost, for our safety and the customer safety. So if you pick a question or pick an answer to a question along those lines of safety, you'll be already sharing information that, oh, I know how to deal with X, Y, and Z, or I know how to deal with situations that cause you to go off of protocol. Formulate your questions thoughtfully, guys. Like, make sure you're picking stuff that makes sense for the job. Just the same way that you put your jobs that on your resume that made sense for the career, or put your bullets, what you did in that job that directly related to maybe what you would be doing as a flight attendant. Use that same tactic when picking the situations from your previous careers in your answers. Anyways, I feel like at this point I'm repeating myself and talking in circles, but I really do think that I shared some pertinent information for you guys, and I hope that this is helpful for when preparing for your interviews. It's nerve-wracking. It's exciting, but definitely nerve-wracking. Always look into the lens of your camera. Never look at the viewfinder or look at yourself. You know how you look. Look the part for your interview, guys. Wear your hair slicked back, or I mean, that's touchy, because if you want to wear your curls out, sure. If you, I mean, I don't know. I would just say look as just undistracting as possible. If you love your hair out in your afro, then by all means. But if you want to add a little less of a distraction, then maybe slick your hair back for today's interview. Wear the red lip. Put a little bit of makeup on. Make sure your suit is nice. Have a suit on. Have a nice, you know, nice looking outfit that shows I'm here for the job, I'm ready for the job, and you should pick me, and here's why. And yeah, dainty earrings. Don't wear any big hoops. Anything that's distracting, guys. Like, make sure your nails are simple, especially if you talk with your hands. If you don't want to take your full set off, then keep your hands down. Do not even put your hands in the camera. But yeah, you do what you feel is best and what you think is going to be right for you in your interview. Everything that I've shared today was opinion based. This is all just my opinion, and these are all things that I really believe helped me in my process. So they might not help you, or I might have shared something today that was transformative for you and that really shifted your mind when it comes to how to attack these interviews. And honestly, I really hope that that is the case. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna stop talking here. This video is like 30-40 minutes long, and so yeah. So thank y'all for watching. I really hope that this was helpful. If it was, give this video a big thumbs up. Hashtag below more flight life in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what other flight attendant videos you guys want. I do plan on doing some what to expect videos, as far as like your face-to-face interview, what to expect when coming to training, what to expect when you're first out of training. So if there's anything else that you guys want to hear or want me to chat with you about, don't be afraid to comment in the comments below. Love y'all. Stay tuned for Sunday's video. It will be another flight attendant vlog, fly position A with me. And yeah, I'll catch you in that video. Bye.